Whoa.
Oh shit, I think I have orcs open. What is that music? Do you hear that?
Yeah. What are you doing?
Okay. I was
having your own rave party in the fucking apartment there.
I'll tell you, man, like, I don't have enough Zug to fund the amount of orcs I want to.
Oh, you're playing Ether Orcs?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know. It's weird. The sound wasn't on. And then the moment I don't know. We talk about our AV problems.
No, officer, it's hi, how are you?
Yes. I'm not as think as you drunk I am.
GM. Yes, welcome back. Here for the NFT NYC Party Alpha.
Boy, it has been, here's what I think is both a little surprising and kind of pissing off two people. The mainstream.
Just two people? Or two groups of people?
Two groups, I should say.
Like just two specific people. Like, fuck them.
The mainstream and crypto Twitter. Not NFT Twitter, crypto Twitter. Because crypto Twitter, who has been making jokes about NFT NYC as a job fair now, and who's going to go and nobody's going to have... No one's there talking about the ETH price. No one's there talking about being down 90% in their portfolios. Everyone is there goofing off and having a good time. And it looks corny from the outside. Like, people are salty and, oh, this is so stupid. Send everything to zero. People don't care. Yeah. They're there having a good time. And large companies are purposely making noise so that people know not only are they into NFTs, but that they are seriously thinking about this industry, as underlined by two major acquisitions just in the last 24 hours. And that would be Uniswap buying Genie, woo! And eBay buying Known Origin. Now,
Known Origin is funny because I don't feel like it's known.
Well,
and they announced like leading NFT marketplace. I'm like, leading is in like what, top 10? Because there's only 2-3 that matter.
Well, that's the thing. If you have
Coinbase,
if you have been in NFTs for a while, like when I came about at the end of 2019, there was like 3 options to choose, or 4 options to choose from, and that was Known Origins, Super Rare, Rareable, and OpenSea. And at the time,
I always forget about those like more art curated ones. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. At the time, I considered OpenSea to basically be Polygon. I would never use it. I was like, ew. OpenSea is where like anybody can put up NFTs.
Right.
Like, I swear to God, for at least the first year and I don't think it was until art blocks. I want to say when I started getting into art blocks, that's what forced me into OpenSea. Like last January or December 2020, something like that, where I really started to look at OpenSea more because it was the easiest place to view art blocks. Art blocks had a notoriously rough website.
So yeah, maybe art blocks is what kind of catapulted OpenSea into...
No question. I mean, you could say it was the holy triumvirate of apes, punks, and art blocks, because punks started to make mainstream news with outside acquisitions like Visa, obviously, celebrity. Like, this was the first time celebrities were buying NFTs. Then you had art blocks start to get people, I would say people like me who viewed NFTs, like it was much more of a one-of-one thing to me. Like, I viewed it as like a way for small artists or digital artists to become big. Like, PFPs were not a big thing then. The first PFP project I ever minted, Bastard Gone Punks. I didn't mint PFPs back.
Oh, you minted that?
Yeah. I minted Bastards.
On a bonding curve, though, it wasn't like it was just like they got pretty expensive
on
actually.
a fucking bonding curve. Could you imagine the nerve of if an NFT collector?
Yeah, we get mad about Dutch auctions.
Oh my god! It would be biggest scam in the world, cash grab. This started.
Well, it kind of would be interesting if you had it on like a ascending price curve, and you say we can mint as many as you want. You just have until 48 hours from now, and like that could be a cool way to like not only like set a floor-ish kind of price, but also kind of curb demand, right?
No, here's a prediction that I think is going to happen. This free mint meta, I think somebody's going to create a free mint and then say the last 1,000 are 50 each. Okay, so like they cut off. Say they make 6,969 of them. They cut off sales at 5,969, and those last 1,000 are 50 ETH each.
I mean, I could see the last 1,000 being on a bonding curve,
but I would take
but
it.
Why 50 ETH? I'm curious though. Like I want you to explain it further. Like why 50 ETH over 0.5 ETH?
Because that is what the art is worth, and that's all. That would be the only reason.
No, I just don't think you'll get anybody buying at 50 ETH.
No, we don't. Well, remember,
or you don't care.
The first 5,700 were out there for free, so the market will soon.
Oh, like they're available to mint for 50 ETH indefinitely.
Indefinitely. There's no time limit. Okay, so the collection's out there. If it fails, it fails. If it becomes goblins and all of a sudden they're at 9 ETH and everybody knows that, wow, they'll be at 50 ETH because those are the last ones that are there. It would be a trick to try to induce a FOMO cycle and an artificial price floor.
I'm still thinking, and like a bias, of course, but like I do think maybe that bonding curve for the last 1,000 could be good. But I also think that like it does make some weird price action because if it fails to get there, well, then you're just kind of killed your project too.
Well, I have to go check the price. I really don't remember. I guess we could do it right now. Could you tell me where ETH was last?
Yeah, I'll pull it up. I have two questions while I'm doing that. Or one, you've always had your kaiju in this profile, haven't you?
I change it. I have.
You flip it around.
It too.
Yeah.
It was.
Oh yeah, because you have your. Sorry, keep going.
It was my desktop statue for a couple weeks, and Kaiju Kings held quite the event here in New York. They have been flying. It's funny because NFTs have actually been doing really well.
And sorry, I just want to ask my other question before we get too deep into the show. I forgot to turn my air conditioning off. Can you guys even hear it?
No.
Okay, great. It's just this like constant like background noise. I was just worried that there'd just be like this droning in the back, but that's good news because it's hot as fuck out, and it will be. I will be sweating by the end of the show, which might be good for burning a couple extra calories or something.
Yes, we hear nothing. At least I don't hear anything.
If you don't hear it, nobody else should. But yeah. No. Sorry, keep going. And what date was I looking for the price of ETH on?
Was it last? I guess it couldn't have been though. Was it really 2020? Man, everything's melding together.
What bastards?
Let's say April 2020. Was it?
Okay. What do we? I forget what we're talking about.
No, it had to be 20. So I want the ETH price. Show me the ETH price on. But
what are we referencing this to? Bastards?
Yeah, I want to know how much I paid in USD for the bastards when I minted.
Oh, 2021 April was high.
It was?
Yeah, we were over $2,000 then.
And
Vegans just hit their year, didn't they?
Yeah,
they haven't been around for. Oh, let's find out. Let's find out. We just side tangent. We weren't even going to talk about vegans.
I can't. It was either March or April. I don't. And they took a while to mint out, so some of them are going to be
June 25th. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
If they do,
they did not mint out fast.
oh, we could do oldest.
Yes.
Oldest. There we go. Bastard Punk 0. Ooh, beauty.
Damn. It was almost like it was on purpose.
Yeah, seriously. March 7th was the first minted.
Okay, so tell me, because that's when I minted. Tell me when.
March 5th, 1500.
Okay, that is
March 8th, 1800. So you were in the middle of some pretty.
Wow, we were in a big move. It's funny because in my mind it was 1300, but I was close. All right, about 1500 bucks. So they minted out at 0.7.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that is, they started at 0.1 and they minted out at 0.7. It was either 0.1 or 0.2.
I think that's one of the reasons why maybe that project has always had a hard time getting off the ground above a certain level, because I think there's a lot of people that minted and are bag holding. You know,
well, it depends
bag holding.
how you look at it. Now, tell me where ETH was last September.
Let's go September 1st.
Yep.
Oh my God, there. 3,800.
Yeah. So Bastard,
and end of September was about 2,700. So yeah, that was that big drop then. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when in late August, when Bastards got to over 1 ETH, they were about $4,000 USD. Mm-hmm. So in US,
my first NFT purchase. Yeah, that's right. I've said it on the show. My first NFT purchase, and like the same week, it went from I think 0.2 or 0.3 to about 1 ETH.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, this shit's easy. I didn't sell it, of course, but I also bought a much higher than floor one at your discretion.
So I paid roughly $700 per bastard, and they did peak out around $4,000, which is about a 6x. Whereas with the ETH price, at best, I did about 80% because they went from 0.6 to 1. So there's some interesting, this idea that we trade in a very volatile underlying currency, which over the last 3 months has been the worst feeling in the world. But sometimes it goes the other direction. And yeah, those are big on punts. Yes, the floor DAO sweep happened, and they promptly fell back to 0.15, which, given the price of ETH, is right near an all-time low for Bastard.
I'm shopping. It's getting time to buy.
Oh yeah, I buy.
But again, I'm willing to lock these babies up for a year or two. Like I don't expect it to happen tomorrow.
I'm starting to think. I've thought this on the last 2 cycles too. So take it with a grain of salt. But something tells me this next cycle they're gonna get there. They're gonna get there. The cream is gonna start rising to the top here.
Well, I'm also willing to have that inevitable. And it might not be him, but it might be him. Gary V. I'm on my 4th bottle of Merlot tonight, and I'm doing my historic binge, and these have been around for 3 years. Boom,
Yep.
And ETH will be at $12,000 by that point, and there will be 45 million people in NFTs and theory crafting, of course.
Yeah, I think that's actually pretty accurate of what's. I mean, let's dive in and talk about. Well, I mean, we could touch on markets real quick. So
I'm gonna just do a quick overview. Bitcoin sitting at $20,500. ETH sitting at just under $1,100.
20,500 keks. I've learned as I get deeper into Bitcoin Twitter, because as you know, I'm a Bitcoin fan now. We converted me in the last couple. See, it just took a violent bear market to get me bullish on Bitcoin, and now. But it's called keks. We're at 20,500 keks. But go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
20,500 keks. My apology. And what's ETH measured in these days? Still USD?
Yeah. ETH
okay. 1,100 USD for Ethereum. Obviously, we had a bit of a step down in the last 24 hours. ETH was actually kind of hanging around that $1,200 mark that, we now like. But yeah, down 6% on the day. Bitcoin down 4% on the day. And let's check out the S&P as well. Down 0.9% on the day, but that's actually up. Yeah, it was almost down 2% in the pre-market trading, or I guess at about 8 o'clock, 8:30 when we first started talking. So now it's down 1%. So we'll see what happens. I believe there's supposed to be a Powell announcement, press conference or something going on right now. Of course, we're on the show, so I don't have that up, but hit me with some market talk.
Well, I don't like doing this as much in a bear market because you will be wrong more often than not. But I do think this is going to reverse either later today or tomorrow. I do think we have put in a local bottom. I think there's a very, very high chance, probably 70 or 80% right now, that we make new lows at some point later this year. But for now, I do believe what is happening, and people are not accepting it yet. In fact, people are leaning in to the bearish recession, high inflation thesis. But what I think happened is inflation peaked, and it peaked right before that last report that we got, at 8.6%. So whereas the market took that report as, oh my God, incredibly high inflation is here and we're fucked. In reality, it was, we had incredibly high inflation and it's starting to go down.
Now, so I'm actually curious about this too, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but when inflation is at 8.6, what is the effect on the market for the next inflation level or and next inflation numbers that come out, right? Because I would imagine
that's a year-over-year number.
Oh, it's year over year.
Yeah, it's not.
So we got a Y. I thought it was quarterly. Sorry.
No. It is.
So,
it's just.
So I was gonna say, because if the next one comes out and it's still 9%, then everyone's like, "Oh fuck!" But okay, I got you.
Yeah. No, they measure it against last year. So over the last year.
Well, how often do they announce it though?
They announce it monthly. They announce CPI.
Oh, okay, but it's a rolling 12-month.
Yeah, they're just looking at what it was last year at the same time and comparing prices.
Okay, so okay, that makes a lot more sense to me. I actually never understood. Not that I didn't understand what inflation is and how those CPI numbers work, but I've never I've been in a spot where my eyes are glued to this stuff more in my life. So, okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yep, and that's the consumer price index. There's another measure of prices we track called the PPI, which is the producer price index. Obviously, that's what manufacturers are paying for raw materials and the cost to make things, whereas CPI is what you actually pay for those things. We can get into the weeds about how they measure it and whether it's accurate, because if you look at the lists of most real prices, they're above 10% year over year, but there are actually legitimate reasons for the way the government measures it. They're not trying to hide things, but it does paint a slightly rosier picture than reality. And that does give conspiracy theorists the ammo to say that it's manipulated, but there are actually reasons that they do that for their own math as far as how they make their projections. So for the last 6 months, as inflation has supposedly caught the Fed and everybody by surprise, the Fed has been behind the curve. And that is just an expression for not having raised interest rates enough to stop inflation from getting so high. Now, that's a decent argument. You could say they should have raised rates sooner. Fine, they didn't. The question is now, given how much they've raised, are they on time, ahead of the curve, or still behind the curve? The narrative is they are still vastly behind the curve. And my read of it from all the data we've been getting, and especially with the long end, which means 30-year interest rates now falling, and they've been falling for the better part of a week, at least 5 sessions, and with oil crashing from $120 now down to 104 or 105 last time I checked. You're already seeing prices come down a bit at the pump. Even here in New York, they went from 501 to 495.
Yeah, we're down below $2 now, baby.
Yeah, and it's
a liter, not a gallon. You guys are
right.
so fucking cheaper.
No, exactly. And obviously that's nowhere, we need gas to be back down towards the $2 to $3 range or $1 a liter range, but it's going in the right direction. And the thing is, people are saying it's getting worse when the evidence says it's getting better. So that's what I think is causing a local bottom here to shape up. And remember, if you're a very large fund, a very large asset manager like BlackRock or a hedge fund or a bank, if you say, okay, tech stocks are cheap right now, let's build a position for the next 5 years, you building that position is going to make the market rally 10 to 20%, just you trying to build that position. And you can't build a proper position without moving the markets that much. But then what you're going to do is you're going to step away. And once that buying pressure goes away and we get some more bad economic numbers in the fall because inflation is cut, who knows what'll be the exact catalyst or excuse or whatever it is, then you'll get it to fall again. But that's what banks want. They want it to go right back to where it was when they started buying, or maybe a little bit lower, so they can finish building their position. They have to think about building their position. And remember, they have to tell you it's bearish the whole time they're doing it. So they keep prices as cheap as possible. And it's tricky. You could argue maybe it's unethical, but who could fault someone for coming out in the conditions we're in and saying, please be cautious. Don't risk more than you can. Bad things are you just sound like dad, like Uncle say, oh, thank you, Dad. You're protecting us. You're telling us to go be safe. When in reality, they're out there buying. So even now, in the very, very short term, I think we've made a local bottom. I don't know if markets reverse today or tomorrow, but I do not think we're going to make new lows until at least the fall. And that will be predicated on data that comes out. I could see a few different scenarios right now, and I'm not married to any of them. The most likely is a big double dip in the fall where we fall back to at least where we are now, that 3,700 area or lower, around 3,400 on the S&P. Or we go sideways. I could see us getting up to, say, 4,400, pulling back to maybe 4,100, and then going sideways into next year. Then next year, I think there's a possibility a recession could happen, given what's going on, and we could get our double dip next year. Or I think there's a very small chance, maybe 10 or 20%, that the Fed threaded the needle. The numbers continue to improve even in the fall. We start getting surprise. Inflation's falling even more. Economy is stable. So you never know. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's a very small chance, but you leave a small possibility of that. But I think there's three ways it can go. But I will say this very confidently. I do think we see 4,400 S&P before we see 3,400. No, the volatility isn't over. No, the bear market isn't over. All those usual disclaimers. But I think we've seen a local bottom and are going to see a very violent counter rally here over the next few months. What does that mean for ETH and Bitcoin? Well, we got more scary news today. And damn, I'm even forgetting the name right now because I had never heard of them. And then all of a sudden, this firm comes out of nowhere. Yeah, we have $1 billion of Bitcoin and USDC at 3AC, and they're not picking up our phone call.
Damn.
Okay. And I think it was like 15,000 Bitcoin and 300 million in USDC that they had parked at 3AC.
Oof.
And they have said now that if they don't return the money within 5 days, they're going to consider a default and go to the authorities, whatever they have to do, blah, 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 blah. So I saw someone instantly short $6 million of Bitcoin when that news dropped. But It was right when the macro kind of found a bottom in the pre-market too. Everything moved back the other. We were down at about 1080, and then we rallied back to about 1100. I don't know exactly where we are right now. I'll say this: if you took all the news, if we were just looking at technicals, remove all the headline from what we're looking at, ETH rallied up to 1180. That was major resistance. The last major resistance last week we couldn't get above was 1080. We kept bouncing at 1080, bouncing at 1080. We fell to 850, and then we rallied back. Now, we rallied to 1195, 1200, which was the next major resistance. Now we've pulled back to our previous resistance. That's still very healthy. If ETH holds 1080 today, I actually think we're going to break above 1200, see at least 1280 later this week, and work our way towards that 1500 level. If we lose 1080 today, I think we could go back to triple digits. Remember, while macro drove much of this decline earlier in the year, there is now systemic risk within crypto, and until these liquidation, 3AC, over leveraged, until we stop getting these headlines, I think that crypto could be at risk. From a technical standpoint, we're still looking good right now. Just watch that 1080 level. We can't lose that with any sort of velocity today, or it's going to get slippery again. So,
yeah, I love this headline. Like coming off heroin, how bad will this Bitcoin bear market get? Then it goes on to say that it could get worse than 2017. I'm like, well, yeah, like, and the I gotta pull it up bigger for you guys, but yeah, the subtitle there, cryptocurrencies are facing a bear market. Like, I don't know, I think we're there, but the article does go on to just say, like, the long and short of it is that, yeah, we've been tied closely with like US equities, the macro market. So like, because all risk assets are, people go risk off, like crypto feels that effect, 10x of what the normal things are. And that's where we are now. But, we've never seen crypto operate in this kind of macro setting and whatnot. And just because the macro markets, the US equity markets and all of that stuff start to turn around and start to go up, if that is the case, doesn't necessarily mean that crypto is going to be pulled with it, especially with free market just saying, a lot of that systemic risk is now kind of being activated and coming online with it, that obviously the equities market, I'm not going to say doesn't face, but isn't facing right now. Does that make sense?
Well, and here's the other thing, right? A lot of these funds that were heavy in crypto, they were also heavy in the NASDAQ, right? So it was the NASDAQ that blew up first. And that forced them to start looking for liquidity elsewhere, and they turned to crypto and started taking it from there. So if macro really does find its footing and the S&P can rally, oh, look at that, 3750s, huh? Come on, baby, give it to me.
Yeah, it's been bouncing real hard between that like down 0.5% and down 1%.
Yeah, no, that's a new regular RTH high. But I if the macro can improve here, I do think it's going to drag. It just has to improve a lot. Like, just because macro has an up 2% day doesn't mean crypto will. But macro puts
doesn't hurt
20% rally over 4 weeks, it's going to drag crypto up with it. Don't think otherwise. So
you think so? Okay, no, that's I mean, that's good to know.
Remember, there's contagion right now from people who own things that aren't just crypto. So all of these, hedge funds run by younger guys, tech focused. Look at ARK, right? Look at Kathy. She was just as heavy in, well, not just as, but she was very heavy in crypto and also very heavy in NASDAQ stock. So as the NASDAQ plummets, those funds that have crypto exposure are going to go there for liquidity. So the opposite will happen too. As the NASDAQ improves and their books start to get healthier, they're not going to need to go to crypto as much for that liquidity. So look, if S&Ps can actually put in a 10 or 20% rally over the next month and a half, I do think ETH and Bitcoin are going to get over their those bit. I think Bitcoin will go to mid-30s and ETH will go to 2,500 at least, if the S&P gets to 4,400, like I think it can over the next couple months.
Yeah, we will watch that, and I mean, we update every day, so we'll see. Twitter is looks like they're unanimously recommending that they take Elon Musk's $44 billion takeover bid. I see a lot of interesting commentary on this on the web. I mean, it totally depends on who you're looking at, whose opinions you're looking at and whatnot. But, there was a lot of speculation that, Elon was trying to back out of the deal because he was asking to see data and they weren't doing it. And he was just coming up with like any kind of excuse. And in the meantime that he made that $44 billion bid, obviously the markets took an absolute shit. Now they're saying it's too high. I mean, to me, Elon putting in that $44 billion bid was him at the time saying, like, obviously, I believe this company is worth a lot more than that. Maybe not currently, but the future earnings potential, as we've often talked about Twitter being terribly monetized. But it looks like they're going through with it now. And I think a lot of people are going like, ha, Twitter got him or whatever. But like, I think he's thrilled. I think this was the game he was playing all along. And I think he got exactly what he wanted.
Is that picture from 10 years ago?
I don't know. Yeah.
He's gotten much better hair extensions.
Yeah. I wasn't really looking at the hairline there, if I was being honest with you. But yeah, it looks like Papa Elon is going to be taking over Twitter. I'm not sure when that's going to go through. I mean, I guess it's not technically official, but they've unanimously recommended that it happens, which I think is probably the biggest step that needed to happen.
Great smile, too. Great smile.
But you know what? I mean, Twitter obviously has a lot of users already onboarded, and the more that he starts to implement payment systems, and I you know what, a lot of these like tech billionaires look at things that are happening over in like China and Asia, like WeChat, and we don't have something like that here. But WeChat is like literally like their one-stop shop app for like social media, chatting, transferring money. Like it's like all these 8 important apps that we have in our life. Like well, we don't have like what's the money one? We don't really use it a whole lot in here.
Cash App or Venmo.
Yeah, Cash App or Venmo. Sorry, Twitter, WhatsApp or Telegram, Instagram. Like this is all rolled into one, and I do think that he's going to start building that into Twitter, as well as combating the bot problem that exists on there.
Put Twitter on the chain.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, right? Like he's often talked about decentralized Twitter. Jack Dorsey's still kind of hanging around, although maybe not for long. I know that they battle back and forth about what cryptos are important. Jack Dorsey obviously being a gigantic Bitcoin maxi and moving on to create Web 5. Haha. But I think that this is good. This is good for crypto in the sense that like you could see native onboarding, purchasing of crypto, a crypto wallet built into it, transferring of crypto, being able to sell crypto for that cash, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, all of a sudden, there's this platform that, 200, 300 million people, I don't know what their daily active users are. I'm literally pulling a number out of my ass. All of a sudden have an easy way to do it. And maybe, not maybe, a bunch of them will go, this is easier than ever for me.
Okay, how about this, my friend?
You'll have to KYC, but yeah.
How about this? Can you name the other 3 digital currencies you can send to a .eth?
That you can send to a .eth?
Yeah, to an ENS name.
Other than ETH, obviously.
There's 3 more other than ETH.
Are we talking like USDC?
No.
Okay, I don't know that. I've never really like.
Well, can you guess? I mean, they should be
Dogecoin.
At least a couple of them. Yep, there's one. The other one's pretty big. You'd probably know the name of it. Could be the biggest in the world.
Bitcoin?
Yep.
You can send that to a .eth?
Yes, you can. Well, yes. And there's a third one. This was the one I thought you wouldn't get because it's very surprising to me. But there's a third digital currency. Go ahead, pull anyone out of your ass from the top, 30 cryptos.
Oh, okay. Litecoin.
Yes. Isn't that crazy?
I did
So
not know that. Yeah.
yeah, Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Doge can also be sent to a .eth. You have to go into your settings and put in the individual addresses that you want there, but all you will have to do to receive any of those four is
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Now, here's what's really interesting too. Loomdart from Pump It Loomdart fame. If you guys don't know that meme, do a little crypto history research after the show. But Loomdart has gotten very bullish on Litecoin recently, and I don't disagree with him for some reason. And I don't know why. I don't know shit about Litecoin besides the fact that Doge was a fork of it. I really don't know much about. Here's what I do know, and his thesis. If CryptoPunks are the first NFT, we know they're not. He was just using it as a broad example. If CryptoPunks were the first NFT, and that's why they have their value, won't Litecoin, as the first ever altcoin, have its value because of it?
Oh, I don't know. I think Litecoin is probably one of the oldest altcoins left standing. It's certainly not the first, though.
Are you sure? I heard it was the first.
I don't know. There were a lot of shitcoins back in the day, too. I don't know. I'll check into it. I could be wrong. I know Litecoin got really, people got really bearish on Litecoin when Charlie Lee, the creator of it, dumped it all of his holdings at the top. And they were like, he's like, I don't want to worry about the price. I just want to focus on the fundamentals. They're like, dude, you just sold at the top for like $300 million. Like,
what
maybe
a shark, baby. What a shark. I
think he was the top. I think that was the point, right?
Yeah.
Like, he tanked the market because not only did he dump a fuck ton of it on the market, he also caused everybody that held it to be incredibly bearish, and there was just no going
better
back.
to be the first one who panics than the last. Always remember that, my friends.
I do think that you have some kind of like impetus as the creator and a large holder to like treat that stuff carefully. No, not so much. I actually wonder,
what are you idiots out there buying invisible money on the internet for anyway?
So Litecoin actually did break its all-time high in the last rally, but not by much, not like ETH and Bitcoin levels. We're talking by like 10% higher. So,
and when we adjust for inflation, I bet it.
Yes, true. Okay.
It didn't make a new high. Now, I don't own any. I don't know anything about it beyond the promise that it was cheaper to transact than Big. I know that's why Dogecoin was memed out of it as a blah blah blah. I like theses like that. I don't even want to do my research. Tell me less when it comes.
Litecoin is very fast. There you go.
Yeah. So that's what I would. That's what I would say. I am telling you, X2, Y2, Looks, Curve, Uniswap, all of these coins I think are going to do very, very well on the next cycle and are selling at pennies on the dollar.
ApeCoin
for what they should be worth. ApeCoin. I don't know. I look at it at $1 billion.
Bearish? Yeah. Are you bearish now?
I just think maybe at 250 million, it's a buy. It's at $1 billion right now as a market cap. I
don't think that they've done a good job of justifying its use, like its existence.
Right. So my thesis is that, and it could change by then, but right now it's the most direct bet someone could make on NFTs. If they didn't want to buy NFTs and they wanted something liquid they could get rid of immediately, and they wanted exposure to the NFT market, I think Ape is a great proxy for it. I think
have the apes done any big announcements at NFT NYC or just their parties?
Say that again.
At NFT NYC, has Yuga or the Apes done any big announcements or anything yet, or just to have their parties? I know that they're partying.
I mean, they revealed an M3.
Oh, the M3. It wasn't the best. Yeah. You're right. I know he's laughing at me. It wasn't the best looking mutant I've seen either.
I thought it was very funny because it looked like the state of the market, just a mutant whose skin had been melted off its body. Like it looked like what you'd put in a museum and go, this was what Bored Apes was before the bomb. And I guess that is the vibe they're going for in with mutants.
And this was the gold. This was the gold one. So what's the remaining one? The leopards? No. I don't know. I can't find it.
But Ape Fest looked like mixed reviews, where I think that it's obvious, it's easy to farm engagement off of being salty and sarcastic, right? So like, you know, I saw the Ape Fest is the only place where there's no line for the women's bathroom joke. Like I saw 15 people make that same joke, like they thought it was original. The whole like, oh, you know, there was only X number of dudes there and they were all standing around looking awkward. Like there was all of that, but I also think a lot of the people there just had fun. Like they didn't put too much pressure on it and they were just there to have a good time. So I think people looking from the outside were being extra salty and sarcastic. And yes, you could always pick out things to make fun of which hiring Amy Schumer, whose branch of comedy probably borders on the woke culture clash branch of comedy, and that is not what 18 to 36-year-old males would gravitate towards as their choice. But I mean, she is a world-class comedian, and she was only on there for 15 minutes, so acting like, you know, it was some like huge, gigantic, like, all right, whatever. It was probably the wrong choice, but it wasn't, you know, wasn't anything crazy.
Amy Schumer's not my cup of tea, that's for sure.
No, but you know, is what it is. There haven't been any large announcements. I don't necessarily anticipate for there to be. I think these guys are the king. The less they do, like when you're the chip leader in a tournament, there's no reason to get in trouble right now. If the blinds start to creep up on you and you have to start to make moves, go for it. But until then, you might as well just play conservatively and coast to the final table, and then you could start playing again. Let Clonex, Azuki, and Doodles take some risk right now and make some big moves and do all that stuff. They're still catching up to you. Yeah, that thing looks like it's been through a bear market.
Yeah, this is all of us. Sup, Cambo? So what's the last one then? There's one more.
Oh, I don't follow. I don't care.
You do.
I really do. I think I liked the trippy one.
Yeah, that one is still my favorite, I think, too. Yeah,
and one of the other ones, but I don't.
Cyclops one was good.
Any cult you're not a part of is stupid from the outside. So,
did you watch that 1 hour long Bored Ape video, FUD video? Just released?
I wouldn't watch a 1 hour video about Bored Ape if it talks naked women from minute 1 to minute 60. Like that.
It's again just about the whole like ties to. It's like they're basically saying it's like the biggest inside joke in history of like white supremacists and all of that.
These
stuff.
people are losers. Have mental deficiencies and need to get a life. If they think that there is any racist or Nazi,
I gotta finish watching it, and believe me, the first 15 minutes that I watched, it wasn't like convincing me, but I mean, I didn't give it the whole thing. I'm not gonna come out of this being like, yeah, fuck the Bored Apes. But
this is a cash grab, and it is a cash grab using social justice as the reason. And
never underestimate the ability to have a pretty well produced video, loosely connected dots with some like spooky music over it, right?
Documentary or YouTube video ever
exactly made. And I don't know if you remember this back in the day, but the Loose Change video, that was like going in depth about basically the 9/11 conspiracy, right? Just spooky music, a dark, ominous voice talking over it, connecting all of these dots. Again, like it's easy if you're just sitting in the vacuum of that video to be like, oh yeah, that makes great sense, right? But like when you start to take the outside information in, it can be picked apart very easily. So these two kids that were in college that produced it went on a show with the like chief editors of Popular Science, right? And these editors ripped them apart with logic to the point where these kids just started name calling. They had no concrete rebuttals to what they were saying. They basically just turned into like, you're part of it, and they're like, no, like we're giving you facts right now, and you guys don't have any say in it. And then they just started yelling at them, and it's like, okay, I want to see that, you know.
This is a literal cash grab. There is a scumbag in our industry named Ryder Rip, who made a collection of Bored Apes that was a copy paste. They didn't even flip them around. It's just the same collection made to protest this fake controversy that he roiled up. And he always stokes the controversy again around their events. He leverages their marketing. And guess what happened to his collection? It was going burr the other day. People were buying it because, one, people want a virtue signal to everybody around them that they are morally superior and holier than thou and looking out for the small guy and here for the oppressed. And we're not capital. We just want to all hold hands and sing Kumbaya. Well, these people are being conned by a fucking moron, and he will continue to do this, and that collection will continue to sell, though it was removed from OpenSea yesterday. Of course, you have the other decentralized marketplaces where you can buy anything you want. So there it is. Hey, R2, you should go bring up that old S&P 500 there real quick.
Do we flip? Oh, no, but we're putting in some work there.
Oh, maybe refresh it. We are green, my friend.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong one. Which one do you look at? Maybe it's lagged. You probably have one that's like real time.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're 20 minutes behind because you're not on data. That's right. Yeah,
10 minutes. Yeah, that's right.
Nasdaq is up almost 1% right now. We are ripping north. ETH is back above $1,110. Again, don't expect crypto to be jumping on any major rally on a day-to-day basis. We got all that bad news. Look, if we can just hold 1,100, it's a fucking win here for ETH. Like, the next 2 days we just hold 1,100, that's very bullish. We hold 1,100 here over the next 2 days. I think we see 15 before next week, maybe sometime early next week. So.
There it is. Nice. S&P is back, baby. Doodles. Big news coming out of Doodles. Doodles announces Pharrell as chief brand officer. Fundraise led by Alexis Ohanian, of course, of Reddit. I love that this guy is so into NFTs, and yet Reddit is just a toxic cesspool whenever you mention, well, it's a toxic cesspool anyways, but throw NFTs into the mix. It's like, fire starter. The valuable NFT collection adds a famous face and fresh funding, plus announces plans for Doodles 2 avatars, Doodles being the recipient of a nice little run last night. Pharrell is an interesting hire because I think everybody is aware of Pharrell. I don't think Pharrell, the person, commands as much attention as someone like a Bieber, someone like a Drake, someone like a Jay-Z, someone like a LeBron James, whatever. But Pharrell is got to be one of the most connected people in the Web 2 entertainment industry, along with Timbaland, who is obviously, working with Yuga and was up on stage last night. And Pharrell is by and large a huge tastemaker too, right? So having him at the helm of the Doodles brand, I think in connection with his, with his connections as well. Sorry, words are hard. I think that this is an incredibly good hire by Doodles.
interesting, Kabir. I know that Asia was just starting to come on in a big way towards the end of the last NFT bull market. Obviously, Europe, Germany, France, those countries have been in NFTs, but the world is a major demographic that we need to onboard here. I mean, we have maybe 1 million unique wallets linked to OpenSea. 1 million out of the billions of people in the world. If you even think that 1% of the world would be into NFTs, which to me is an insanely low number, given how ubiquitous digital life is to newer generations. But that would be 70 million people. That means that our user base could potentially 70x here over the next 5 years. If you own quality NFTs like Doodles or Begone Punks, you're going to see massive return when that happens.
So what are we thinking about this this ad for Doodles 2 here? Obviously, he's got a duplicator on. It's going to be used for something. I mean, the name is pretty self-explanatory. So what, duplicator you think is going to be the access pass to Doodles 2?
Well, I think they're going to make a new NFT with it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I get that. Yeah, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Doodles has, I think it's done a really good job of like gonna make it, right? It's had its ups and downs for sure, but I don't think there's any doubt in anyone's mind that it's kind of crossed Cool Cats as in terms of like notoriety and attention and whatnot. I don't think that that's even a debate anymore. It has flipped CloneX as of right now. I don't even know what Azuki's at these days, but I mean, it really is making some moves. And I mean, I don't know. I know you're not a fan of like floor Doodles, but I do think Doodles, the brand, and Doodles, the team, have been executing at a very high level now.
Yeah, Doodles look great.
Kabir is saying, agree. The new tech always pops up first in the USA, and other countries usually catch up somewhat slowly. Yeah,
because you know what the USA has been doing for 20 years. It's something that the government is doing on purpose, but they will never say out loud. They are trading worthless fiat paper in exchange for technology. In other words, we are borrowing money from the rest of the world, using that borrowed money to build the most important technology the world has ever seen, and then literally printing the dollars to send it back to them. Think about this. Is the most brilliant system I've ever heard in my life. We are borrowing money from other countries, then printing a picture on a piece of paper and sending it over to them in exchange for that. This is the America has cracked the code. That is why Silicon Valley has become what it is. And even with this recent NASDAQ pullback, we are still the most innovative country in the world. And we look forward to inventing cold fusion over the next 5 years. Thank you.
I heard some stat that Miami's, if they keep up at their current growth rate and Silicon Valley continues to decline, Miami will overtake San Francisco,
Silicon Miami,
as the leader in the United States. Pretty incredible.
Where and how can we use NFTs?
NFT NYC, get into the clubs.
I don't know exactly where you're located, but OpenSea.
Oh, you're new. Okay.
OpenSea is the largest marketplace in the world. I just don't know if you have access where you are. It's OpenSea.io is where you would buy NFTs. And
I gotcha. Sorry, I didn't realize that you were new. I thought I'd seen that name in here before. I thought you were just chatting. Cool. Well, Jump into AlphaMint
A
Discord.
good NFT is going to run you a few $100s American, just for perspective.
We got Genie being bought by Uniswap. I know you mentioned this.
Now, I mean,
Gem obviously being bought by OpenSea not too long ago.
Yeah, if we thought the eBay news was big this morning, and it is, I consider this Uniswap news even bigger. Uniswap is arguably the most important thing ever built on top of ETH. It is now going to integrate Genie, the market aggregator / sweeping tool that really took the last bull market by storm and was the de facto choice until Gem showed up. And many people did prefer the user interface to Gem. I do expect the masterful engineers over at Uniswap to fold this in a beautiful way. If you ever use Genie more than once before April 15th, you will be getting an airdrop from Uniswap in USDC. That's right. Not Uniswap token, not a new token that they created for Genie, but in USDC, the Coinbase-backed stablecoin.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because that's weird, right?
That is weird.
It's I mean, obviously, a lot of times these tokens are used or these airdrops are done as a way to like launch a token. By the way, anyone that's used this, get a token, blah, blah, blah. Tokens kind of have arbitrary value, but a lot of times they're governance token linked to some kind of treasury, et cetera, et cetera. People that are bullish on it want to own exposure to that treasury and what they're doing, the actions on it. In the case of things like Looks Rare, you get, the chance to stake the token, participate in the success of the platform via the rewards that they give out and whatnot. Giving out USD is kind of just like, hey, thanks for using this at some point, but it doesn't add any value to their platform. In fact, I would say that it kind of takes away, because that USDC has to come from somewhere, and they're obviously taking it out of their treasury. Maybe it's not we don't have numbers on how much are going to be distributed, right?
No.
So like maybe it's not a lot. I don't know. Interesting though. What do you think about that? Like why not? Uniswap already has a token.
That was extremely strange to me. We have been discussing it on crypto Twitter for the last day, and it was hard to get past the jokes. Like, oh, the bear market is hit so hard, they're doing airdrops in USDC. But it really is an interesting choice, right? Like, Uniswap is sitting on millions of Uniswap tokens that cost them nothing because they made them. And they're going to give away a bunch of USDC. That is a hard asset. I suppose you could say on their books, it's technically the same thing. But
it's true. If they're giving away okay.
Right. I just do not know why. I cannot figure out why they did it this way. Here is what I'll say. It does make a very, very interesting situation, right? Because there's nothing to sell. They're just giving you dollars, right? They said later this summer. They didn't give an exact date, Cambo. So sometime later this summer. They're just giving you dollars. There's nothing for you to sell. I suppose you could send it over to Coinbase and put it in your bank. But unlike most airdrops, where you get this token and some people sell, some people hold because they think it's going up. And we know the normal routine. It debuts, it falls 50%, people start buying it again, it rallies 1,000%, and then it falls below where it ICO'd and it stays there for months or years. This is just the standard airdrop routine we've seen over and over again. They're removing that by dropping USDC. In fact, you only have two choices here now. You withdraw it or you buy something. Now, that's very interesting. We've normally considered airdrop stimulus because people have used them to buy stuff, but this is much more of a direct stimulus because now people don't have to sell that underlying asset. This means all the money they gave, people are going to use to buy things with. I'm sure a small percentage will cash it out, but before, a large percentage, maybe at least half, were keeping those tokens and trying to play the ride. And we know how well people play those things. And many people just get left stuck holding a bag. They don't sell at the top. They hold it all the way down, thinking it's going to go back up. And all that quote unquote stimulus money kind of disappears. Whereas here, people are just getting a large drop of money. What are they going to do with it? Interesting implication. Are they going to buy ETH? Are they going to buy NFTs? Are they going to buy Uni? Are they going to buy shitcoin? Are they going to cash it out? Very interesting.
Maybe they just didn't want like some random like speculative maybe because Uniswap has already in existence, they don't want to give it to everybody and have them dump it.
I don't think it's that. My best guess is it's regulatory. Like now they think crypto is going mainstream and there's something that makes more sense about this from a regulatory standpoint. I don't know. That's just my guess. S&P now up 0.7%. NASDAQ up 1.22%. ETH, $1,120. Stocks go burr.
Yeah, I'm dragging behind, but yeah, 0.5% on mine. Yep.
Good
Could be a day, man. I guess we'll have to look into what was said and why, if anything. I mean, sometimes markets just move. But obviously with...
No, he said... I know.
Oh, you have it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. He said that he believes, given what he's seeing, that there's a low chance of a recession.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
Strong.
And I mean, this is something that people like me have been saying for a while, that when you look at the data, there is no indication that we are near a recession. There is just none. You cannot bring up any economic data and say we're near a recession. You could say that the numbers that are in place, if they were to persist, would cause a recession. That's not a recession. And you're still speculating as to how long those numbers would have to persist to cause it. So you're speculating on two things. One, that it's going to happen, and two, that it's going to happen on your time scale. I think both of those things are wrong, and the market is bearing that out right now. We are creeping up on 3,800 on the S&Ps.
I love when these events take place, and like even in real time, live when we're on the show, and you're probably even in the middle of talking, you're also live like shit posting on Twitter too. Like it's just like it's awesome.
Yeah, got a lot to do. Well, I have tried not to stick my neck out too much in the bear because you'll be wrong more often than not. That said, I believe it's important to have opinions. Like when you are a media person, waffling or hedging doesn't do any good for anybody. Be right or be wrong, but be something. Yeah. Don't just say things and then hedge it out with the opposite statement. Like, oh, I think this is going to happen. But, the fuck is the point of even talking? What the fuck is the point of even talking? Have an opinion, all right? But this morning, something just, everybody knows that the last few months, if we had a big up day, plus 2, 3, 4% in the markets, the next day was the opposite. It's been almost 100% since the bear market came. So we have that big pop yesterday. Overnight things melt down again. Coming in the morning, everyone goes, see, you're right. Same old bear market, same old this, that, or other thing. It causes people to be caught leaning the wrong way. And what you're seeing right now is just short covering. But that begets more short covering as the rally continues. Then all of a sudden, the peckish buyers start stepping in. Then the meat comes in. And then the people who refuse to buy start to FOMO, and that's when we get close towards a local top. So we're just at the beginning phase of people realizing we've put in a local bottom. shit's gonna get silly over the next couple weeks as $250 billion is gonna flow. It's like I could have said it as plainly as the nose on people's faces, and no, we're still bare. We're buying puts. We're still going. I said $250 billion is about to flow into the. You know what billion means with a B? But hey, here we are.
Here we are.
Yields down, oil close to 100. Ooh, let's get oil to $80. Then I want you to show me a recession, bitch. Let's see.
Well, let's talk about this for a second, because I just kind of had this thought yesterday or the day before, but like talking about like, I don't know, maybe this can't be tied back to NFTs. Maybe this was just a good move, but you know that Kate Bush song that's everywhere now, right? It was in 1985 or something. She wrote it.
No, what is it?
Running Up That Hill.
Yeah, what's it about?
The song?
Yeah, I don't know it.
I don't know. Running Up a Hill. It's a pretty like 80s jam, right?
They're
like
playing it a lot now. You're saying?
Yeah. So Netflix used it in Stranger Things, and it kind of just caught fire, right? Like it was in one of those like important scenes or something. Everyone got like really, I don't know. I don't watch Stranger Things, but it is now, after almost 40 years, #1 on the charts. It's everywhere. It's on TikTok. It's on Instagram. It's getting played on the radio again. Huge. But she did something brilliant, and I think that this kind of relates to NFTs, where she owns the writing credits, the producing credits, the distribution rights, and of course the performance rights of this. She owns 100% of that song, which traditionally doesn't happen with almost anybody's songs. There's producers, there's the record labels, all of this are involved. And at the end of the day, once it all shakes out, the royalties get split up. And a lot of times the artist might get 10%, 20% if they're, a big name artist, less if they're just trying to break on the scene and they take a shitty deal, and they feel like they have to. But she owns 100% of that. So now, almost 40 years later, she is making 250,000 euros a week off this song blowing up. That's incredible. And I just thought, like, good on her to like either accumulate those rights or launch them with that. But like, is that not get you super bullish about the potential of using NFTs to fund your own artistry, music, whatever? Own the rights to these things, having other people be able to own the rights, participate in it, and those royalties via smart contract getting distributed right back to you without a million different people in the pockets on the way there. Because if she didn't own that, I'm sure she'd be making great money still. Maybe it's 10%, 25,000 euros, nothing to shake a stick at. But this is a long bet, and I'm sure she made good money along the way up to it. But that long bet on ownership is paying off massively for her right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty incredible.
Amazing.
Right?
Bullet on NFTs, baby.
Right. Yeah. There you go. Kind of just a closing thought as to where these things can go. I don't know. Like it's a very anecdotal. It's very like in the moment. Maybe I'm just making false parallels to try and push a narrative. But I do think if these things can start to branch off into music, obviously it's in art right now, gaming, all of that stuff. I mean, it's going to have profound effects of like actual true ownership and cutting out a lot of the shit from the middle.
Yeah.
And people getting shafted too, right? Like if you're producing an album and you're going to launch it as an NFT and you build it into the smart contract that so-and-so producer is going to get 15%, you, the artist, is going to get 25%. The fans are going to take a 25% cut of the royalty if you own the other NFTs or the NFT distribute. Like all of that stuff being paid out in perpetuity automatically because the blockchain works and the smart contracts are one of the most important technologies that we're ever going to see in our lives. Incredible.
Amazing.
What do you got going on today? It's Wednesday. You guys doing the squeeze still? Are they in New York right now?
We are. We have the squeeze.
Are you doing it live?
Do it live.
Yeah.
No. Everyone's at different places. So this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're just jumping onto Twitter and still doing it. Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Yeah. Nice. Well, Anything else you want to talk about today?
No. Market, go up more. But I will say this.
No, but I will.
The only stock on my screen that is down right now is Coinbase. And I have a group of technology stocks that I put a bunch of clients in, blah, 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 because they are my basket of NQ that I believe is going to do real. Coinbase was one of them. It's down 4% right now, even with the market ripping north. And I'm guessing that's because of that 3AC news that we got this morning, as people fear there's more contagion. ETH could not get above 1120, even with S&Ps rallying like they are. So
Coinbase being at a $12 billion market cap is a fucking generational buy right now. I'm not NFA, but like if you think that this company in the face of a crypto bull market and being one of the largest onboarders, and I mean the conversation about the NFT marketplace has really kind of subsided because a lot of people think that they've botched it. I think that they are just still in a really soft beta phase. I mean, shit, is that company worth 200 billion? Easy?
Yeah, 100, 200 bill, right in there somewhere. 5 years from now, it's going to be an easy 20x. So.
If you're playing the long game, I know everyone. If we're watching NFTs right now, it's like, how do I make the most out of this in the next 48 hours? Crypto, how do I make the most out of this in the next few weeks, months, or maybe year? Like the time horizons get progressively shorter as you start to stack these kind of derivatives on top of the technology. But the underlying stock, if you have some money sitting in S&Ps and whatnot, I mean, down 75% in the last year. No way that's gonna stay there.
Yeah, short term.
It could go down a little bit farther, sure. Yeah.
Well, short term, I would watch if ETH could hold 1080. If it holds 1080, I would stay bullish short term. If it loses it, everything crypto related should go with it. Back to 3 digis.
Could be. Wonder how my MicroStrategy stock is doing.
Don't look.
No?
Don't look.
That's been a volatile one. I get emails every day.
He's down 10%. He's down about $1 billion on 4. Okay, so he's down 25% from his buy point, his average cost. He came on CNBC and he explained how only about 300 million or 400 million of that is funded with debt.
Right.
So they have more than enough assets to put up if their creditors did start to call in. He even threatened that he was thinking about borrowing more money to buy Bitcoin. So,
well, this is what I find interesting is that, and I guarantee you he will buy more. Before he's licking his lips at the possibility of these prices right now. Before this company started buying Bitcoin, the market cap was just over $1 billion. I mean, it wasn't one of the biggest companies, but it was a cash flow positive, solid company. It didn't have a lot of movement over the last 5 years, but it existed. It was doing its job. And then he started buying Bitcoin and it went nuts. But right now, despite the fact that he's bought $4 billion in Bitcoin, he's only down about $1 billion of it, and I guess not super in debt to it. The market cap of the company is now $2 billion. So how is the market cap lower than their Bitcoin holdings? That doesn't make sense, does it? Is that just like a fear of what could happen to this company?
Yeah. Yes. Often you will get a discount of the cash on your books because it's not doing anything.
And there was a huge premium on the stock price when Bitcoin was like going at, I think it was that first run at 60,000. I mean, the MicroStrategy, which is now $180, was trading at like 1,100, 1,300, 1,200. for a very brief period of time, and that was worth like the stock value is worth way more than the Bitcoin holdings. So yeah,
if people think the assets on your books can fall 80 or 90%, they're going to put a discount on them.
Yep. Cool. Got it. Buying more MicroStrategy.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a terrible bet. As much as
I wonder if like
tastes bad in my mouth.
I don't know how expensive they are. They're probably pretty expensive with that stock price, but like maybe some options long going on.
Right. I mean, I don't know what their revenue. What do they bring in on a yearly basis? $100 million? Like is there
500 mil.
500 million of revenue?
Yeah.
Do we know what their margins are?
I do not know what their margins are.
Yeah, like if they're bringing in, if
net profit margin,
I'm guessing 10% at best,
22%,
22. So they're bringing in $100 million a year. You would normally give a tech company, anywhere from 10 to 20 PE. So they would normally be valued between 500 million and $1 billion. They're getting $1 billion premium for the Bitcoin on their books, roughly. So, yeah, I don't know.
Going long. All right.
Looks like the ETH chart.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Minus the 2017 pop.
Yes, that too. Quite a dump there. Still not even at their all-time highs. This was you want to see the .com bubble in action. MicroStrategy was trading at $3,000 a share.
They must have reverse split.
No, I think that it was maybe.
I don't think there were a lot of stocks trading at $3,000 back then. Only Warren Buffett let his stock get that high. People used to split.
Oh, to keep the price down.
Yeah. So my guess is if it was 3,000, then they had to do a reverse split after the .com crash.
Right. Okay. Yeah. We'll see. All right, my friend. I think that's probably a good time to wrap it up. I'll have to let you know about a show tomorrow, but we'll definitely do one on Friday. So we'll obviously post an AlphaMint and let you know about the show tomorrow morning. Sorry to be wishy-washy on that. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, and just trying to keep up with it. So on that note, yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in today. Always a pleasure to be up here with you, Free Market. A lot of market talk. S&P's down bad at first and now up great. That's the volatile market we're in right now. ETH looking to hold that $1,100 mark. We'll see if it starts to kind of move with the macro economy or if we are where we are right now. I think we still got a little bit of time to put in at these levels before we can take a big next step up. But, if you have a long enough time horizon, these things tend to go up very well. Doodle's hiring Pharrell as their chief brand officer. The M3 Mutant, the gold M3 Mutant, was revealed at ApeFest in NFT NYC. eBay acquired Known Origin. We actually didn't talk about that. You want to save that for the books and why that's important. Uniswap grabbing Genie. That seems about right. I'm sure there was some other stuff in there. Yeah, Elon Musk looks like he is going to be taking over Twitter at the $44 billion valuation initially offered. So on that note, we are going to wrap it up. Love you all. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for tuning in. If you want to do us a huge solid and hit that like button down below, it does actually help other people see this show. So if you like it, it's always appreciated.
Little Lemon Friends just partnered with American Eagle.
What?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Do you want to keep going or do you want to dissect that?
No, I just thought I would drop that. That's some breaking news. 24 minutes ago, the American Eagle account.
No shit.
Out.
American Eagle. Haven't shopped at that.
American Eagle has partnered with Star Catches, Wonder Pals, The Littles, and Little Lemon Friends. I'm guessing that is thanks to Haley Hales, who works at American Eagle now. and all 4 of those collections, I believe she's a holder. So shout out, good work.
Interesting. Wonder Pal. That's a pretty diverse collection there.
Holy shit!
What?
That is the biggest short. Someone just shorted $27 million of Bitcoin.
Perfect. Short squeeze incoming.
And 14 minutes before that, 7 million was shorted. You know what that is? That's somebody who knows a bunch of Bitcoin has to be dumped over the next day or two, and they are front running that to make some money. That is scary.
Selling MicroStrategy. Got it.
Holy shit.
Well, we will. Oh, sorry. Go.
No, I guess we know why Coinbase is down. I don't know if crypto is gonna escape the melee. All right, we've been trying to close this show out.
No, all good. I'm all for breaking news.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We will catch you again soon. Love you all. Free market. Get us out of here.
Good luck at the tables, D-Gens.